there, KBFers. So I hope you guys, and I think that you've enjoyed our miles between with Miss Kristie over there series. And I'll be honest with you, it was a total accident. I just had the camera going because I was shooting something else for sponsors, and it just happened. And when you're going back and reviewing the footage and you're cracking up and you were there, then you know you've got the formula for something that you should just let the camera roll for. But here's the thing, there's a lot of miles between, and then there's just being at home and driving around. So I'm gonna kind of switch it up a little bit on the miles between series, and I haven't even told Kristie this. We're just gonna call this series, since it's not the miles between trips, it's really just kind of, you know, going fishing and driving places and everyday life. I'm just gonna call this driving Miss Kristie. So this is me driving around with Miss Kristie, her asking me questions that I've told her to pay attention, think about things you want to ask me, and wait till we're in the truck so we can talk about it and we can share it with the rest of the world, and somebody else out there can learn while she learns. So what Kristie did is created herself a little list. Hold on, where am I going? Straight or right?
You can go to Gallatin. Yeah.
Straight?
No, get on that thing.
Okay, so anyway, the bypass, that thing. So again, I'm just driving Miss Kristie, and she's gonna ask me questions about fishing. Hopefully you guys can learn something while she's learning something, and then maybe I'll find something that I don't know about fishing, and we'll both learn together. So if I don't know, I'm gonna say I don't know, come back to it, shoot a follow-up video, and then do the best I can to explain it, go out and become a subject matter expert on it. So anyway, what you got, Miss Kristie?
Okay, so I was grocery shopping the other day, and you told me to be thinking about fishing all the time so I can get better at it, even though you don't take me. And I'm just playing. We were
working on that.
We were just
literally just on the water.
Literally.
It's the thing about women. It doesn't matter how much you give them.
But that was like 20 minutes ago.
Never enough. It's never enough. Anyway, go. So.
Anyway, so I was grocery shopping, and I started thinking about, you know, y'all talk about all these lures and all these colors, and you make up a bunch of colors, but that's another thing. But you know how dogs are colorblind? Don't you think fish are colorblind?
How do you know, I've heard that, but how do we know that dogs are colorblind? Have you ever walked a mile in a dog's shoes? Have you ever seen through a dog's eyes? Anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead. What's the question?
Are fish colorblind?
No. How
do you know? Have you ever swam like a fish? Actually, you have.
So, no, there's scientific ways to determine, you know, the way that the properties of the eye react, and we won't get into that now, but we will get into that. I actually cover that in my book, Kayak Bass Fishing, how the fish's eye works different. You would think. It would answer a lot of these questions, but then everybody at home would have to read the book, and you're basically saving them the $24.95 and just bringing it to them for...
This is like an audio book, video book.
It's like an audio book.
It's a video book.
Yep, not an hook book, but an audio book.
Hey, did you tell them I got hooked in my leg?
She got hooked in her leg. Matter of fact, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a quick cutaway. I didn't actually have the pulling the hook out, but I show it in the leg, and I'm able to pull it out because it was in the parking lot of the condo. And
my leg was up on a tailgate, and y'all, I knew, he said it was a 4/0 hook that was in my leg, and I knew what that meant.
Right before I took it out of her leg. Yep. The way it ended up in her leg is she was complaining about all my hooks being up on the dash. So I put them on the seat, and I guess when
a lot of the subscribers have complained.
I guess when I went around the curve, one slid off into the door jamb, and when I got the other ones to put them in the tackle box, I missed that one. So because she's vertically challenged and she hops down out of my truck, she hopped down into a 4/0 hook into the shin. Anyway, let's just take a look at it.
Yeah.
It's kind of nasty.
It was cool though.
The visibility is not that great. She bled quite a bit, actually more than any hooking I've had in a long time. In fact, just last night after we got home, I get a call from my son's boyfriend, my son's girlfriend's dad. That's what I was trying to say. And he said, hey, we're up here at the emergency room. Her name's Victoria. Victoria's got this hook in her arm. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna take you guys to that real quick, and I'm gonna show you the hook in Kristie's leg, and then I'm going to show you the hook in Victoria's arm, in her elbow. I got them both out, saved them an emergency room visit. I'm actually rapidly becoming either a really bad luck charm and causing people to get hooked, or the guy that you want to have around when you get hooked. So check out these 2 quick segments of Kristie with a hook in her leg and Victoria with a hook in her elbow, and then we'll finish up driving Miss Kristie. All right, so here's what I'm doing. Hopefully you can see this. I'm kind of illuminating myself. We were getting ready to get out of the truck, and that crankbait right there was in the door.
Was in the door.
Right there.
Drawing so it wouldn't rust.
Kristie decided to get out of the truck, and somehow that right there ended up in her leg. You guys are legitimately going to think that Kristie is just here for content, but I promise you that's not the case. So I'm going to have to do a hook removal, and then we're going to have a brand new lure, and shouldn't be a problem.
What?
But I'm going to hook it up and do the hook removal. Then I'll put the hook back on the lure, and then she's got to catch a fish with it. So anyway, there it is right there. Now look guys, this ain't no baby junior varsity hook. That's like door.
That's a crankbait.
That's a big she now knows that is a crankbait. Right there, got hung in her leg, and there's blood involved. Normally I don't have this much blood or any blood, but we're gonna grab the flashlight and I'm gonna clean this up, and we are going to remove the hook.
It makes me feel better watching it though.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yours is awesome. Mine was pouring blood. It was like crazy.
I just can't believe that it happened.
What happened?
We were sitting there behind your house, and there's like little largemouth busted right on that.
Oh yeah.
Right on that little tiny torpedo.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to pop it, and it flew out of the water. She was standing right beside me.
I'm sorry if I throw up on you.
It's all good.
Oh, here actually.
That's great. I got it on video.
You do whatever you
Sorry
gotta.
for anything I say.
You gotta do whatever you gotta do to make it feel like you're doing it better.
Please don't hit the other side of the wood.
He's got wrapped up. There's no way you can do it.
It's gonna.
Ready? I need you to bend your elbow just a tiny bit. Bend your elbow just a
This
tiny
way?
bit. Yep. Ready?
There you go.
See? Doesn't it feel better now that it's out?
So, you know, here's the thing. There is a lot of debate over color. What we do know is how far certain colors go in the water spectrum.
Oh, and how far down the light
How far
goes.
down the light goes, you know, those kind of things.
I know about
and
that.
so, as much as color is a big thing in lure marketing, I'm more of a fan of contrast than I am specifically a particular color. Now, I've got guys that go, man, you got to get that bubblegum candy worm with the purple and green fleck in it. They ain't gonna eat the one with the gold fleck. And that might be true, but it's not because it's gold or it's purple. It's because of the contrast. It's because of it either against the water when they're looking up, against the combination of the water and the sky conditions when they're looking up. If you're fishing on bottom,
Do you use different colors if it's sunny or cloudy?
yeah, you're making it show up better.
That makes
And
so much more sense.
if the sky is light and the water is clear, it's different than if the water's dark and the sky's dark, or if the water's dark and the sky's
Can you
sunny.
fish when it's raining?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, rain's good. Sometimes that disturbance on the surface breaks up the mirror effect on the bottom of the water, and it makes it easier for the fish to see the lure. So really, let's do this one question at a time,
Sorry.
Miss Kristie. Focus, squirrel. So anyway, you're really looking for more contrast. If you're fishing on a place, you're coming out of winter, you're rolling into spring, and there's a lot of leaf litter, which is leaves that are falling out of the tree, sank down at the bottom, they're starting to decompose, and the bottom is really black. You really don't want to fish a black lure if you're fishing on bottom. You want to fish, you want to fish something that contrasts. You want to fish a pumpkin seed. That's one of the times that
Is that orange?
pumpkin seed's green. Pumpkin seed, not pumpkin. The seed.
But a pumpkin seed is white.
Only when it's dyed and bleached and put in a package at the convenience store. When it actually comes out of the pumpkin and you just let it dry,
That's not
it's
true.
a different color.
At the Halloween, whenever you
Not the shell, the seed.
Oh.
You see what I'm dealing with? Anyway, so I would use a pumpkin seed, and that's one of the times I really am a fan of tipping the lure with, you know, Spike It or JJ's Magic or something like that, where I can change the color of the tail. That contrasted chartreuse or bright green or pink or something like that, what it does also is it attracts the bait fish. They like to pick at that little tip, and you're working your worm along. The bass sees all of those fish picking at it. It takes off after the group. The bait fish scatter, your worm's left there. Process of elimination, you get a bite. I do the same. Yeah, it's a dip. It dyes the plastic. I'll show you later. We'll do a video on dyeing plastics. We'll put Kristie in it. It's kind of like tie-dyeing.
So much to all this.
It's kind of like tie-dyeing, like y'all was doing at the house yesterday.
We were tie-dyeing.
Came home and they were tie-dyeing stuff. Oh, that went out in the 60s.
No.
But anyway, so here's the deal, guys. When it comes to color, there are certain things that make a lot of difference. There's certain times that different colors work. If you got some old dude sitting at the tackle shop drinking coffee, probably ain't fished in 20 years, but fished that particular body of water for about 50 years, and he goes, y'all try that yellow worm with the black fleck in it over here. I'm gonna tell you right now, more often than not, those guys know something about that particular lake. I was fishing Lake Hartwell one time, and this old man said, you gonna fish out there, you need yellow worm, black fleck. And I was like, yellow worm? Yep, yellow worm, yellow trick worm, black fleck. And I was like, I don't think I've ever fished a yellow worm with black fleck. So of course I buy a pack to oblige him, to kind of contribute to the local tackle shop. And I get out there and I'm trying not to fish that yellow worm with the black fleck. I'm trying to disprove the theory. I'm throwing pumpkin seed, I'm throwing black, I'm throwing bubble gum. I even threw a white worm for a while, and I picked up, you know,
Is bubble gum pink?
Yeah,
Huh.
1 or 2 fish. And then it's like Pepto-Bismol pink. And then we
Like bubble gum?
like bubble gum. You can see how we name stuff what it is. Like pumpkin seed. Not David's pumpkin seeds at the store. Anyway, squirrel. So I finally decided, let me throw this yellow worm with the black fleck and see what happens. And I ain't kidding you. I started skipping this trick worm under docks and letting it fall. And in the shade, that yellow worm with black fleck on Lake Hartwell out-caught anything I've ever fished on that lake. So sometimes those what I call tackle shop furniture guys, and guys that are always there, they're there from the time it opens to the time it closes, and they're like a parrot with the fishing report, you know. They're biting over there in the left coves on the sunny side, you know. Those guys are invaluable. So when it comes to color selection, babe, I'm really not a big fan of going crazy with the colors. I'm more about contrast, paying attention to what's going on with your sky condition and your water clarity and that combination, and then paying attention to what's going on with your bottom composition. If I'm fishing a sandy bottom or a really green grass, I'll fish a black lure because it's going to contrast well. If I'm fishing leaf litter or a dark bottom or mud, then I'm going to use something white or chartreuse or pumpkin seed with a chartreuse tip on it or something to that effect.
So it's completely opposite from when you go hunting. You don't want it to be camouflaged.
Right, you want it to stand out. You want it to be the thing that needs to get killed. And oftentimes they will. There are no chartreuse bait fish, but bass eat the heck out of stuff that's chartreuse.
I ain't never seen a pink one.
Well, here's the thing about the pink. Certain bait fish, when they get this blood close to the skin, they do take on a pink tinge. And so I've seen schools of fish underwater with the right iridescence, they actually look pink.
What about a purple frog? I ain't never seen that.
Same thing. There's some frogs that have this iridescence about their skin color that gives them that purple tinge.
You think underwater when the sunlight hits it, it looks different?
To them it does. All right, guys, that's color selection while driving Miss Kristie. I went around my elbow to get to my butt like 3 different times. We had a couple of squirrel detours, but hopefully you guys like this series, and we're going to keep bringing them to you. And we'll be back in a minute with more driving Miss Kristie, because I'm sure she's got more questions banked up to ask me. Comment below and tell us what you think about driving Miss Kristie.
Good Lord, baby. Oh. What did you eat?
I ate the same thing you did, just a little bit more of it.
Oh my gosh, your body processes it different. Oh